In the heart of America's Corn Belt, something changed forever in the 1930s. Farmers who once saved their own seeds season after season suddenly found themselves returning to the same companies every spring to buy new ones. Yields exploded, profits rose, but control quietly shifted from the hands of farmers into the hands of corporations. This is not just a story about better corn. It's a story about power, profit, and how a single biological trick reshaped the global food system and left us all confused about what we're actually eating. Today, the word hybrid is thrown around like a warning label. Some call hybrid seeds the gateway to corporate control. Others say they're the miracle that feeds the world. But what if the real story is more complicated and more political than we've been told? In this video, we're going deep into the political economy of seeds. We'll trace how one innovation in corn breeding became the blueprint for modern industrial agriculture, why the word hybrid creates so much confusion, and what this history means for farmers, eaters, and the future of food. Stay with me. This story will change how you see your plate. Let's go back to the beginning. Before the 1930s, most farmers in America grew what we now call open-pollinated corn. They saved seeds from their best plants year after year. The seeds belonged to the farmer. But scientists discovered something powerful. When you cross two carefully weakened inbred lines of corn, the first-generation offspring, called F1 hybrids, grow with explosive vigor. They produce much bigger harvests. There was just one catch. Those strong F1 plants do not breed true. If you save their seeds and plant them the next year, you get a messy mix, weaker, inconsistent plants. Farmers had to come back every season to buy fresh hybrid seeds. For seed companies, this was revolutionary. As one observer later noted, biology itself became a form of intellectual property protection. Henry Wallace, future Vice President of the United States, founded one of the first hybrid seed companies, Pioneer Hybrid. By the late 1930s, hybrid corn had taken over the Corn Belt. Yields doubled in a generation. Half of that increase came from the hybrids themselves. It looked like pure progress. But it quietly changed the relationship between farmers and their seeds forever. Hybrid corn didn't just increase yields, it transformed an entire system. Seed companies could now invest serious money in breeding because they knew farmers would return every year. Public breeding programs, once central, gradually took a back seat. The private sector gained control over what kinds of seeds were developed. Seeds that worked best with chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and large-scale monocultures. This model proved so successful that companies tried to extend it to other crops. Corn was easy because it's an outcrossing plant with high seed multiplication, while wheat and rice were much harder as they are mostly self-pollinating. True F1 hybrids were biologically difficult and expensive. Yet the label hybrid stuck to many new seeds anyway. In the next chapter, we'll see how this label created lasting confusion, especially during one of the most important agricultural transformations of the 20th century. If you're finding this deep dive valuable, verify that subscribe button is clicked. We're tracking the political economy of food and agriculture, so you don't miss the next video. The Green Revolution of the 1960s and 70s brought new semi-dwarf wheat and rice varieties to Asia and Latin America. Yields soared, but these varieties were not F1 hybrids. Farmers could still save their seeds. They were the result of careful crossing, followed by years of selection to create stable, true breeding lines. Yet from the beginning, both supporters and critics called them hybrid seeds. Why? For supporters, the word signaled modern science and progress. For critics, it linked these seeds to the same corporate logic they saw in American hybrid corn: dependency, monocultures, and loss of farmer control. The confusion was powerful. It turned a technical breeding term into a political label for anything associated with industrial agriculture. Chemical-heavy, capital-intensive, and often controlled by distant companies. Imagine being a small farmer in Mexico or India in the 1970s. New seeds promise bigger harvests, but they need expensive fertilizers and irrigation. The old seeds you saved for free suddenly seem inferior. Some farmers prospered. Many others fell into debt. Meanwhile, in the United States, the 1970 southern cornleaf blight epidemic revealed the danger of genetic uniformity. Millions of acres of hybrid corn shared the same vulnerable genetics. The blight wiped out huge portions of the crop. Losses reached over $1 billion. The disaster showed that when corporations control seed genetics for profit, the entire food system can become dangerously fragile. This tension between promised abundance and real vulnerability would only deepen as new technologies appeared on the horizon. By the 1970s and 80s, activists like Pat Mooney and scholars like Jack Kloppenberg used the history of hybrid corn as a warning. They argued that new biotechnologies, especially genetically modified crops, would take corporate control even further. Then came Terminator seeds, genetically engineered seeds designed to produce sterile offspring so farmers could never save them. The comparison to F1 hybrids was immediate and powerful. The label hybrid became permanently linked in many people's minds with GMOs, corporate power, and loss of seed sovereignty. The confusion persists today. Many seed catalogs now proudly declare non-hybrid, non-GMO as if the two are the same thing. So what are we to make of this complicated history? Here are 6 key lessons we can draw. 1. Biology can be turned into power. The genius of F1 hybrids wasn't just higher yields. It was preventing farmers from saving seeds, creating a new market every season. 2. Labels matter more than we think. The word hybrid stopped being a precise scientific term and became a political shorthand for industrial corporate agriculture. 3. Progress always has trade-offs. Higher yields came with dependency, uniformity, and vulnerability to disease. 4. Confusion serves political purposes. Mixing up different breeding methods helped mobilize resistance to corporate control. But it also obscured real differences in how seeds are made. 5. Public breeding matters. When private companies dominate seed development, the needs of small farmers and long-term resilience often suffer. 6. We need clearer thinking, not simpler slogans. Understanding the actual science and political economy of seeds is essential if we want better food systems. This history leaves us with real disadvantages: loss of farmer autonomy, reduced genetic diversity, increased corporate concentration, and fragile monoculture systems vulnerable to shocks. But it also reminds us that seeds are not just biological objects. They are deeply political. What stood out to you in this analysis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read them and often build on viewer questions in future episodes. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, share, and stay curious about the systems that feed the world. and the people who sustain them.